Welcome back to another video. So today I want to point out one thing, which is that of all the books that I've read, of everything that I've experienced, all of the information basically boils down to three things, which is things in the past, things in the present, things in the future. So if you think about it, books on habits, books on the present moment, meditation, books on healing, shadow work, think about it, right? All of the self-development stuff, all of the stories that are told, fictional stories, they all have roots in the past, in the present, and in the future. So if you want to think about those three categories, that's a really good way to think about how to live your life. When people talk about financial planning, right, we're talking about the future. Okay, what does my present state look like? What I want the future to look like, and how do I properly map out the strategy for me to get there? So, and think about all the stuff that I'm talking about as far as habit developing, building your process, building your character, living by certain principles, aspiring towards meaningful and positive virtues. It all has to do with really taking everything that you've learned, everything that you are, integrating that, speaking to yourself kindly, positively, with compassion, with love, with care, simultaneously making sure that as you're healing that inner child, you're in the present moment so that you're actually aware, you're very attentive of what's happening right now, what needs to be done, what needs attention, what's going on in your body, what's going on in your world, what's the next move to make, and as a consequence, what am I working towards? So what is all of this leading towards? So what am I doing here? I have to be able to factor in tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, because if I don't do that, then I'm just gonna completely let myself slide. Because if there are no consequences in the future, then we would just do whatever we want in the present. So we would never suffer the consequences. So when you think about all of the self-development books, all of the self-help books, and most basically everything in our existence. But I want to focus specifically on this area of finances, of business, of self-help, self-development, healing, psychological understanding, optimization, habit formation. Like I said, these things have roots in the past, in the present, and the future. So if you want to be able to organize your mind, the best thing that you can do is organize your mind in that way. So find out, okay, so I know everything is in three categories. That is a fact. Everything is in the past, in the present, and in the future. Well, at least everything that needs to be addressed. Because when you have a memory, every time you think about something that happened yesterday, 10 years ago, doesn't matter. If it didn't happen now, and it's not a hypothetical scenario that you're constructing in your mind or thinking about the future, then you're thinking about something in the past. You cannot escape the past. Anytime you have a memory of something, every time you remember, that word remember, that's a memory that already occurred. And you're bringing it to your attention in the present moment. So that's happening in the present. And then as you behave, that's subsequently creating your future. Same with the vision, same with the planning, same with the creating a business, organizing your finances, and what have you. So think about things in those three categories, right? Past, present, and future. So now you're very clear. You're like, okay, so what do I have to do? What are the different habits and processes that I can go through that will fundamentally establish my being at the strongest level, on the strongest, deepest fundamental level in all three of those categories, right? And if you think about the video that I recorded yesterday, it was one life hack. It was I think it was entitled "One Life Hack, the Best Life Hack" or something like that, some kind of cool title. And basically, what that was is setting alarms on your phone every hour on the hour to take a moment to connect with yourself, to give thanks, to be grateful to yourself, to God, to the universe, to think about something that you appreciate, to send love to your own heart, to take a moment to really put yourself at ease, to coach yourself, to self-parent yourself, to connect with yourself, because then you start to link positive feelings with the moments that you take to actually connect with yourself. So think about what we're doing here. We're creating the future by establishing habits in the present, but we're also speaking to ourselves in a way that we've been training ourselves to actually speak to ourselves in. So again, that practice is touching, right? Is touching the past, is touching the present, and is touching the future. The reason it's touching the past is because remember that the words that you're speaking to yourself, and I mentioned this in the previous video, is that whatever words you're saying to yourself, whether you believe in affirmations or you speak to yourself, you can't speak to yourself the way somebody else tells you to, which means that even sometimes I say things or you read things in books, don't think that you should repeat a phrase exactly as it's written. It has to really resonate with you. And I mentioned this around the point of intention. If you're setting your intention for the day, it may not resonate with you to say, my intention for today is, right? Maybe that doesn't resonate because it's not powerful. You don't feel it. So whatever you say, whatever you do, you have to be able to feel it. So if the way you feel it is saying, I'm going to live this day like X, or I'm going to do this today because of whatever. So you're just picking the words. So the words have the same meaning, but you're picking different words that will have the same meaning, but the words obviously matter because you're the one saying them. So you have to be able to feel them and internalize them. So how does that link to what I was just saying about the past? Well, when you're speaking to yourself, you want to speak to yourself the way that you would want to be spoken to, that you loved, when your mom or your dad, they spoke to you in that specific way. Or maybe it's a phrase that you never heard, but you wish you would have heard, right? Growing up, something that would like calm you down or encourage you or motivate you or make you feel like very accepted or loved. Or maybe you heard these phrases and you want to repeat them back to you. So remember that you can't be free from the past or the future. So you really have to be able to leverage the past and the future in the present moment. Because remember that the past and the future, if you got to pick a moment to live in, you got to pick the present moment because everything is happening now. So which means that if you're always thinking about the future, you're constructing visions. I used to fall in this trap when I was younger, is that you can construct all the visions that you want. If you don't do anything right now to build that future, nothing is going to happen, right? Nothing is going to happen. Same with the past, right? You hear this all the time about people dwelling in the past. You're dwelling in the past. What's happening? You're feeling more depressed. You're feeling more anxious, more helpless, more like a victim because you're not doing anything to change that past. So you really feel like you don't have any power. The power is not in your hands. But if you focus on the present, hypothetically speaking, without focusing on the future or the past, you're just in the now. You're like right here, right now. What am I doing? Okay, I'm doing this. And then you just do the stuff in the present because everything in a sense is always happening now. It's not happening in the future. When it does happen, it will happen in the present, right? So I don't want to get too spiritual or philosophical, but the point is that people are very disconnected when they speak about only the present moment and living in the now and everything else is suffering. Like that's not people's normal experience. So I'm not going to sit here and gaslight your experience of life, of your existence, because basically every single person on the planet experiences life with the past, with the present, with the future, um, always in the present, basically, right? So you can argue that everything is happening in the present, but nevertheless, you're behaving as though the past exists and the future exists. So you can't really escape that. So remember, everything is happening in the now. You want to be able to leverage everything that happened in the past for your benefit. So you're like, okay, how can I use all this information because it already happened? It's already in the past, so it's gone. I can take that sort of dead information. It's almost like books, right? Books are written and they just kind of sit there. I could take all that information, I could bring it to the present, so I can like inform myself right now based off of maybe the mistakes that I made or things that didn't go well or things that went well that I want to repeat, right? Because remember, remembrance is recalling information, recalling experiences in the present. And then how can I take all of the potential in the future and then make it manifest right now? So how can I take all that potential, that vision, and then allow that vision to inform me in the present? So you're allowing the past and you're allowing the past, you're allowing the past and the future, right, to inform the present. So that's the goal. And as such, of course, you're going to be more inclined to do the right things as you see them. You're going to have the right intention, the right thoughts. You're going to be able to deal with things the right way. And even if you don't, you're going to be able to deal or regard yourself the way you're having that relationship with yourself in a very healthy, positive way. So that way you can get back on the path if you fall off. So hope that was helpful for you to understand that really everything is based off of those three, based in these three categories, right? Everything has roots in the past, the present, and the future. So just know that whenever you're doing anything in your life, even if it's sports, you're learning something, is that you're going to be able to make sure that you're always thinking about those three things, right? These three, they're not even concepts, but these three, they're not ideas either, but the reality of the past, the present, and the future. And again, not to get too spiritual or whatever, but just think about them as categories. Let's just put it that way. And then in each category, you're going to be able to leverage that category differently to inform what you're doing presently and where you're going. So, hope that was helpful. And if you like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, sign up to my school group. It's free. We do 2 live group calls a week. The next one is tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern. And the other one is at Thursday, 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. Eastern. So hope to see you in there. But if not, leave a comment because I read all the comments. Ask a question if you have a question, if you disagreed with me, if you agreed with me, if you want to ask me something. I record entire videos based off people's comments and questions. So feel free to do that as well. So until next time, I'll see you soon.